It's different.
It's like a suicide of scotches.
If you were talking about terroir of whiskey, this would be like, to me, if you were like, this is from Sweden, well, fucking of course it is. Why wouldn't it be, right?
Hey, what's up,
everybody? Welcome to Scotch for Dummies.
Four guys on the Scotch journey to help you with your next Scotch or Swedish.
I believe we're lost.
Well, we're in Scotch.
We're not in Scotch anymore, people.
We're
in
off
the
course.
Swedish. This is a first-timer for us.
What's going on here?
This is the Mackmyra Stjärnrök.
Stjärnrök. That's how Google says it, by the way.
It's spelled Stjärnrök, but it's pronounced Stjärnrök, which is, was it star smoke?
Star smoke.
Translation, I think.
That's what it translates to.
But our friends, Christa and Wesley, went over there recently for a little trip, and they got engaged. They visited a distillery, had a great time, and brought us back some samples and got us this bottle. And they said, this is amazing whiskey, you guys should try it. And we're like, okay, we'll try it.
Here we are.
So here we are, we're gonna try it. This is a distillery that's been around, it's like late 1990s, like 1998, I think it was.
Sure.
And they've been distilling for a while. Really cool information on their website. They've got a really cool distillery. It's super tall. Like
cool virtual tour on their website if you want to get into their distillery and see how it all operates. I was really impressed with that. 46.1 ABV.
And it's a single malt. So there's that.
And
It is a single malt.
And so it's tons of casks, and we'll go through this in a second. But one of the cool things about it is it's 100% Swedish barley and 100% Swedish peat. So this is going to be peated a little bit. But the interesting thing about it is, Sean, is they put juniper twigs on their peat as they're smoking it to flavor the barley. So
just to mess with us?
I guess.
We'll see what happens.
Starry
to that. I'm
smoke.
not sure.
So, but there's like,
We'll try.
how many casks have we got there? Probably 9. So ex-bourbon, smoky, fresh Oloroso, smoke, and extra smoke. We got smoked tail ex-bourbon, Oloroso, and first fill, and new. I mean, a bunch of stuff. But the interesting thing too, I actually want to talk to them. Their casks are small.
Cask sizes, right. So 200 liters is the largest cask they have, but that they're using to put this one together. But they have a 30-liter cask, a 100-liter cask, a couple of 100-liter casks. It's just
30 liters is small.
Very small, comparative to what, you could talk like a pour pipe or one of these big guys.
I mean, you could check that as a carry-on. Not that I would. I'm just saying.
Might as well try.
It's not very big.
Right. But it's different, and I'm very curious to see what putting a few juniper leaves on top of the peat's going to do to it. This doesn't have an age, and what was the price point on it? Do we know?
I think it's around 70-ish. $75, something like that. American. I'm not sure what it was in pounds.
Is this something you can get in the States, or is this something that you have to, order online?
You have to order it, I think. I don't believe it's in the States. But people are getting it. So
it's got there's a super interesting nose.
The nose.
And
the nose.
I don't know that it's juniper, but it's got like a green, evergreen,
it's woodsy.
Yeah.
Well, they're proud of that. If you look at their website and where their distillery is located, they're very nature conscious, and so they consider themselves to be out in the middle of the woods, and they kind of really are. There's some really cool pictures out there with the northern lights behind it.
It's a very interesting nose. It's it's almost Christmassy too. It's like a lot of spices going on.
That is super interesting. So
like sweet cream on the nose.
It does have a lot of spices, and it does have that evergreen quality. But you're right, it's got a creamy, almost like milk and honey kind of thing going on, right?
But did you get peat on the nose, the smokiness? I'm not getting much smoky in the nose.
No.
Yeah, so the very, very, very first thing that hit my nose was an acetone smell, and then it just totally went into, like you said, woodsy, very spicy, sweet spice, like all spice going on. You said Christmas or something. I'm like, yeah, Santa Claus is around the corner.
It's like a Christmas tree or something. Let's get to the palate.
Wow.
I already tasted it. It's very crisp and clean.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say, 46.1?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's the peat. There's the smoke.
It's there. I don't know that I wouldn't compare it to like an Isla or anything like that. It's a lighter, more approachable situation.
And quick too, right? Like it it escalates and declines really quick on the finish.
My first sip it did. On my second sip, it's hanging in there a little bit harder. It's got some spice on the back end.
It came back, guys, like a red hot on me. I mean, it just got cinnamon, spicy, really
cinnamon and white pepper. Like it's got a little bit of that heat on the back end, but it's nice. I mean, it fades in and out.
You know what? I think it is a juniper I'm getting now, like a gin. Like, you know, when you get a gin, that kind of like that, almost not bitterness, but whatever that is in a gin you get.
Yeah, it's got a bitter quality to it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
There's definitely a really long finish that I'm not sure if it's for me or not.
It's an interesting taste. I mean, comparing to Scotch is not fair. It's got its own taste to it. It's good. I mean, I like it.
It's a fun experiment for me as far as the nose and palate because it's definitely different than what you're going to get out of a Scotch.
I would say it's very interesting because it's got a lot of flavor, but the palate to me, it doesn't have that cloying, like it doesn't stick to your palate. It finishes real clean, like drinking water almost. You know what I mean? Whereas some like Scotches or heavier bourbons, you get that like mouth coating, and this doesn't quite have that.
No, but
this has
comes
like
back with cinnamon.
Yeah, I was just gonna say this is basically to me all woody, like cask wood with hints of spices. That's what I'm getting. Here. I'm not getting anything malty at all. I'm not getting anything really oloroso, sherry. It's just spices, semi-sweetness, and some juniper.
I think I get a little bit of the maltiness quality to it, but I think it's almost like triple distilled, right?
Yeah.
Like it's so clean. It's almost like an Irish.
Okay. I'm curious.
Yeah, that's
maybe it
closer
is.
To what it is.
Maybe I don't know. Do they double or triple distill?
I have no idea. But that distiller it's a gravity thing. It's super tall, so maybe it's something to do with that.
So I mean, because that's what I'm getting. Is like it's got that real crisp, clean finish, like an Irish.
Clean. Absolutely, I agree with you on that. But afterwards, the finish comes back real strong with a really hard cinnamon.
Yeah,
peppery note that's just comes flying back up.
You guys didn't water yet?
Not yet. Yeah, but I will.
It's so with the water, there's a sweeter note that comes out, and I'm getting less of the like woodsy notes, but the spices are still there, but they're a little more manageable, I guess.
I think the water's helping it.
I would say this is a very interesting whiskey. Like this would be one that I would want to like. Not necessarily super pay attention to, but it's different enough that if I wanted to have something that, like you were just tired of all your old favorites and you wanted something that was just a little bit like
throw you off,
adjacent to it, but not quite the same, this would be a good pick.
So I think the water right off on the nose really brought out that vanilla oak, that cotton candy, that sugar from the oak is really coming out after I put 4 or 5 good healthy drops on it. I mean,
the water I think is actually better. I got more malty now than I did before, and more fruits, more raisins than I did before. For me, I think and some of it's just we're drinking it fast. Maybe time to open up would be better too.
That could be. I mean, this will be interesting to come back on a live show.
Yeah.
And try it again after it's had a chance to sit a little bit. But I think it's worth kind of going through and exploring. I feel like this one, as you go through the bottle, will present different levels where it's actually very unique.
To that. The casking, as many casks they had there, I bet if we give it more time, Sean, I think you're right. Maybe we can get through some of those casks they're trying to spice it up with.
Well, not to say you're wrong or right, but when I look at the description of some of those casks, it's even confusing just on the words they use to describe them. I mean, Swedish oak cask saturated with cloudberry wine.
What's cloudberry wine?
That doesn't mean anything to me. I'm sorry. Smoke tail ex-bourbon. This is I'm not used to saying. What are you trying to convey to me when you use that?
I think we need to find out.
So yeah, you know what? I think we've got the ability to do that. I think we reach out to Mackmyra and talk to the distillery manager and see what the heck they got going on.
They've got a lot of whiskeys.
Right.
This is not even the part of the core. This is like a specialty. They've got like 4 in the core, and then they've got like I can't remember, like a handful of other ones, and we've got some more to go through. So they've been doing this for a while.
Well, you said they've been doing this since what, late 90s?
Yeah.
So, I mean, 25 years, they should know what they're doing.
Right.
And, I mean, this is a very interesting whiskey. It's not our normal Scotch. You can tell that it's different, but I kind of like getting into some of these world whiskeys and see what they've got to offer.
Oh, they're definitely different. So I don't know where I'm at on the number on this, but I can talk through some of it. Unless you're ready to go.
Maybe we shouldn't score so much as more of an interest on, I mean, should you buy it or not? It's interesting.
Okay.
You know, because to me, I think if I'm a Scotch drinker and I'm like, hey, what is this? I see this on the shelf. Should I give it a try? My vote is yes, you should. Because it's different. It's got some qualities of a Scotch that are there, but it's interesting. It's not off-putting at all.
No.
It's got some interesting, it's just a different concoction in a sense. So they've done some really cool barreling. It's still the barley love that you were looking for in a Scotch. It just got some different taste to it. And I think I'm actually intrigued. I want to try some of their other Scotches, or sorry, some of their other whiskeys.
Good catch.
Default, sorry.
Right.
Some other whiskeys and see what they're doing because this is interesting. It's intriguing to me.
Smoke and Oloroso, but I think that's a little juniper twig on there.
I would definitely call this whiskey above average. I mean,
oh, for sure.
If I had to throw a number out, I'm saying a 2.5 or a 3.
I'm with Sean.
I mean,
I'm with Sean.
It's definitely a well done glass. I think it's got some interesting things that I'm not used to seeing in Scotch, and I like the mouthfeel of it. To me, this would be a nice one if you were just like, if you didn't want to get too hung up on the glass, but you wanted to kind of pay attention to it. This would be a good one. It's got some unique things going on. I really liked the foresty part of it, but now that I've put water on it, that's kind of gone, and it's all the sweetness is coming out.
Yeah.
And now it's almost like a wheated whiskey. I mean, to me, the wheated whiskeys to me always finish a little cleaner, and this has that kind of quality to it, or an Irish that's finishing a little like a triple distilled. You know, it doesn't have that heavy mouthfeel to it.
Yeah.
So neat. I thought it was interesting because there were some smells and some tastes that were different, especially coming from the Scotch world. I also thought it was a bit disjointed. I think I put the water on it, and I really think it tamed some of the disjointed. I lost some of those unique smells and flavors, but it brought them all together, everything together, and made it more approachable and just easier to drink. I think I would have more fun with it neat, just a couple more glasses, just to play with and be like, what the hell am I really tasting? What did you do here? Just because for my own palate experience. But putting a couple drops of water, I'm enjoying it. It's different. I'll give you that much.
I think by the time this bottle gets about half empty, it's going to be a very different whiskey than what we had tonight.
I agree. It's unique. It's different. The peat's coming out more than it has before for me. So I think this is something that's going to evolve. But I am definitely interested. And I think we all agree this is above average.
Yeah,
all
I would say so.
Well, what do we got? How do you pronounce it?
Stjärnrök.
Close enough.
Good job, Drew. All right,
Close
buddy.
enough.
Thanks so much.
Straight from Sweden, man.
We'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.
3, 2, 1.